The film starts with such a sight of the town where two boys used to live. They were the close friends of each other. They were also school fellows. One of the friends' name is Darren, who is very brilliant and a bookish teenager. His parents are also very satisfied with him. It is obvious that his friend is very mischievous as a teenager, so he makes Darren miss the school. And it is disliked by Darren's parents. So they often used to say, "Darren, we don't like your friend at all." Darren warns him, "Going there, you will never visit your friend named Steve, nor you will be under his influence because you are becoming indecent. And you don't take any interest in study." But Darren dislikes it at all. He never wanted to break the friendship up with Steve. So he tells Steve going to him, "My parents are saying to not have a friendship with you. But I don't want it because you are my bosom friend. So we will remain friends forever. Okay?" Then Steve replies, "Not good idea." And both begin to argue on this topic. Then a car drives beside them, and a poster is thrown towards them from it. And it is the poster of the circus show which was going to be held tonight. They begin to concentrate that poster as they are ready to move there. Then the school site is shown where Darren is focusing on this poster in his book instead of attending his class. Then the teacher approaches there and he begins to look at that poster while snatching it. He warns all the students saying, "Be alert. If someone visited this circus, no one will visit there among you." But Darren was not going to abide it by. He starts to go to the circus with his friend as the night falls. They had also went there secretly from their parents. Reaching there, they start to purchase their tickets. Then a tiny creature bites their hands. Then a man meets with them and starts to talk. Then they enter the show where several creatures and the characters are being seen. There is also a wolf man, snake man and a lady who could regrow his any part of body. All show their performance. Then a predictor lady appears. She directly begins to move towards Darren. And she also starts to see the future of him while touching his face. Who knows what she feels and forecasts? She is confused. The hair grow on her face. Removing it, she moves to another person, whose name is Larden. She is very nervous. She says to him, "It is not good for us to stay here. I don't know that I am not sensing good from here." That man leaves outside while ignoring her words. It is also a spider. He is holding a sway over it on the stage while playing a flute. Steve thinks seeing him as he is a vampire. Then the spider of that man comes on Darren. Darren likes that spider too much. Larden also comes after him. He says to both of them, "You are thinking wrong, that vampires are also present today. There is no any vampire." Then Darren's teacher approaches there and he had also brought police with him. Because he did not want that this show may be performed here. Steve and Darren run from there. Darren reaches into the room of Larden while running. That person's full name is Larden Crepsley. Darren hides in a cupboard while lifting his spider. At the same, he also reaches there. Who is talking with another person. He tells him that a tiny creature has come back. And it will also end us, accompanying with his companions. Then Steve enters their room and says to Larden, "I know that you are vampire. It will be better to turn me into a vampire." Larden says, "Oh. It is the matter. First of all, I have to taste your blood. That you deserve it or not." Larden dislikes the taste of his blood as he tastes it. He says that there is evil in your blood. You can never be a good vampire. Steve gets angry on this. And he threatens him, "I will take revenge from you." Then Larden does not like it at all. Afterwards, Larden moves ahead to check his spider. When Darren realizes that his life may be in danger. So he comes outside to take that spider. He is hit with a car. This is the same car which had been seen in the beginning of the movie, which had thrown the poster of the circus. Darren gets in that car. And a man in the vehicle takes one of Darren's hair. Because he had to conduct a research. Then they get off Darren. Next day, Darren brings that spider into the school. Steve also catches this sight and says to him, "Show it to me." Then Darren makes a cage of the spider from him. Then it is dropped down from his hand. Spider comes outside and starts to wander throughout the school. So the kids are feeling afraid due to this. Darren is also afraid that spider may not be crushed under his foot. And he tries to control it playing flute. Then his flute is also fallen and begins to come under his foot. Meantime, that spider bites on the mouth of Steve. Consequently, Steve falls down, knocking out. And Darren immediately goes to Larden. So he may bring any type of a medicine, a dose through which Steve may restore his consciousness. Now Darren tells Larden the details, reaching to him. Larden becomes very furious. And he says, "You committed wrong, stealing my spider. But I cannot forbid you if you are in difficulty. You have to save the life of your friend. So you will have to sacrifice one thing." Darren says, "Which type of sacrifice?" Larden tells that you will have to be my assistant. Because I am a vampire. and you will have to exchange your blood with me to be my assistant. After this, you will only work for me. You will not have any relation with the world. Darren begins to think. But he had also to save the life of his friend in reality. They both shake their hands. After this, Darren is turned into the half-vampire. Now he is Vampire's assistant. Now the deal fulfilled here. Now it is the turn that Darren carried out the same what was ordered by Larten. So they go to recover Steve, pouring the antidote in him. Then Larten says to Darren, that time has arrived, when you will leave your family in this world. In the same way, he fractures the neck of Darren. And he pushes him down. Because vampires don't breathe. Everyone thinks that Darren has been died as being knocked down after falling. And Larten wanted the same, so all end their contact with him, thinking it. Now there is the funeral ceremony of Darren. When Steve checks his hands there. Then he is confirmed that he is Vampire's assistant. Then Darren is buried. But Larten starts to dig his grave while going there at night, and he brings the Darren's body out. Then he realizes as someone else is there. So he orders to Darren, move to your grave immediately. He himself pushes Darren into the grave. Then the leader of Vampineses reaches there. The same man who wanted to kill Larten. He says to him, I need Darren. But Larten forbids him and runs away from there speedily, taking Darren. On the other side, Steve is seen who is dejected. Because Darren had died in the real life. But Steve was missing Darren's words after his death. He is Neil Rye to commit suicide. But that bald man appears there. He has put on a mysterious glasses. He tells Steve, my friend. Darren is still alive. And there is no need for you to miss him. He has snatched you that creature what you wanted. You wanted to be turned into vampire. Listen. Darren acts upon it. He did not care you at all. Hearing it, Steve flies into rage. So he joins the team of that person. On the other side, Darren is seen. Who was creating the abilities of the vampires, but he was also missing Steve and family. So he begins to call him. Then Larten appears there and he says while searching his mobile phone. Have you remembered what I had said to you? Meanwhile, that man car stops there. Who had joined the leader. Larten says to Darren, hide yourself immediately. Actually that bad man had come to take Darren. But Larten does not show him. That man says, I will surely come. I will take Darren with me. Now that evil man also creates negativity in Steve, going there, one of the Vampineses who are the rival of the vampires. On the other side, Darren is seen who is practicing the skills with Larten. But he was becoming feeble with the passage of the time. Now the blood was required for him. He does not drink blood even on the saying of Larten. Then Larten begins to explain him that it is very essential for your survival. Darren says, okay. Before this, Larten informs about many things to Darren. If vampires want to suck the blood of someone, either they will suck a few drops of blood of a man after knocking him out and leave it from the wound, but the Vampinese kill the man for sucking the blood. They are more dangerous, but there is not a big issue. There is no any dispute between vampires and Vampinese. But the bald man that I had shown you with whom you had seated in a car. He is not a good man at all. He always struggles to create the dispute between vampires and Vampinese, so he may get benefit from somewhere. Never be entrapped by him. Then they reach a place where Larten makes a man unconscious. And he says to Darren, now you can suck blood. But Darren is still not willing to suck blood even after coming here, because he is half human and half vampire. Then Larten says to him, you will die if you don't take food. In the same way, you will also die if you don't suck blood. Saying it, he leaves. Contrarily, it is seen that Vampineses start to attack the circus to kill the vampires after being trapped. Their Vampinese also begin to search for Darren. But Larten has hidden him. When Vampineses don't find Darren. So they grab his close friend who is actually a girl. When Darren moves to circus show then a boy tells him, they grabbed your friend, wounding me. Darren immediately leaves to rescue his friend. He notices, reaching his house that his family has also been abducted by those Vampineses. There is also written message for her where it is stated, see you at the theater. It was the same place where some roses were seen in the beginning. And Darren has to go there because he had to rescue his friend. Now Larten is also informed about it, so he leaves to rescue Darren. But Darren has reached there till that time. There is also the leader of Vampineses there. There is also Steve. They say to Darren, we have your family and also your friend. Whom will you like to save? Then Darren says, is this question to ask? Darren catches Steve in anger. But Steve pushes him. Darren is fallen away because he has not sucked the blood. He has no power like the vampires even like the human beings. Because he is hungry and feeble. Larten soon arrives there, who begins to fight with the leader of Vampineses. Now Darren's friend moves to place with him after freeing herself. That girl offers Darren, "You can suck my blood." But Darren says to her, "No. I cannot do this, nor I will do." That girl reveals to him, "I know you are a good man. And this knowledge for me is enough. You can suck my blood." So Darren sucks her little blood and generates power in him. Now Darren reaches the place where that leader and Steve are assaulting that Larden. They have weakened him, but Larden stabs the knife into the tummy of the Vampanez's leader, lifting it. He is killed, suffering from pain. Then that bald man also appears there, who is feeling excitement. And Steve was also happy at that place. Darren gets angry from him, that he deceived them without knowing anything. Steve will also turn into an evil man like the leader if he survived. Darren moves forward to kill Steve. But bald man calls Steve to him. He says to Steve, "You are the new leader of Vampanez's from now." He transforms ex-leader into a small creature. And he moves away, taking Steve with him. On the other side, Larden is seen, who assists Darren. Now he can release his family back because he had also understood that nothing is more important than a family, so the people may turn to evil man like Steve when they go far from the family. Darren's family had been released. So Larden removes their memory while hypnotizing. So they may forget, as Darren had died alone. In the end, it is seen that Darren also attends the circus show. It means, he will also meet Larden, living with family. The movie also ends on this scene. Thanks for watching.